He's only lost in the first round on 4 occasions, the most recent back in 2014. So he is a heavy favourite. David Grace going to enjoy this one way or another. I think he won 3 matches. And interestingly, Neil, he hadn't made a century in any of them until the penultimate frame against Andrews. And afterwards, John came over to him and said, good luck for the World Championship. Well, here they are playing each other. Higgins is a classic recently. That was his best run in a ranking event. But the Crucible has so often brought out the best in him, of course.
Nice shot, having played those qualifiers. Not a good start, though.
David Grace, 1.
I think a few people keep hearing a lot that John's playing well, but I mean, I don't think anything will.
Just on how close the crowd. We know he can last the course. 8 finals here. He got to 3 in a row, of course.
The red above the black is the one he'd love to do. Playing on the left-hand red here.
29.
Just to sort of try and make his action a little bit more compact and...
It's not a plant. That's quite a poor shot, really. The plant wasn't on, so
I believe he's luck here. Practices at the Northern Snooker Centre parade. Here with he had to beat Sean O'Sullivan.
40. $21.
the black was respotted, of course, that it wasn't available. Must admit, when he first played it, I have to Beauty. What a beautiful shot.
One.
About a foot. Power the cue ball around the angles here, I think. Of course, he'll always...
John Higgins.
Yes. Oh, it's a great hit.
Yeah, he almost hit you.
And as I say, with these great players, you know, with John Higgins in particular, whenever you quality matches just to reach those finals, beat Jack Lazowski here in a decider in the quarterfinals, puts the black safe.
2.
Overall, it really, in terms of he laid the snooker at the end of it, that was
5.
excellent. And well, you certainly end on a high here in Sheffield.
9.
It's been in 8 finals, 3 more semi-finals.
14.
In that visit. Been in a couple of last 16s this season. He did have that win over O'Sullivan that I mentioned before a ball is struck in this match.
One.
Now, as I say, he got the chance in the first frame. It didn't come to much, can it?
They are difficult shots. I know he made it look quite difficult, but...
David Grace 1. 1.
Invariably, players will do that, though, if they think they can get away with it. Just
David winning that first match gave him the points he needed to stay on.
7.
one of these clubs that has been going for years, so in an era when so many clubs... Well, they've decided to plan.
He never looked in, did it, that?
That's a good move, was he wasn't...
Williams, of course, Mark made the running in that match. Higgins played brilliant snooker in the last session.
Oh, easy games here, of course, but I guess in this match, especially here. Well, he's passed it. Opportunity has come around and is going better. He only wants another red.
And a perfect chance to put this away. That red.
50.
They've not gone very far. And he's doing so here.
73.
He's as good as. Your day on Friday, you just want to get out there and play.
91.
Stages here. It's to win the second frame, 2-0 over David Grace.
Shot from Grace, but of course once it goes in you want the...
David Grace 1.
Did pretty well.
hard enough? It can't. Surely not. It's getting... Oh, smashing pot.
One.
And I think... Now it's a big shot to take on. I was thinking that. It's quite nicely spread here.
One, all the reds covering one another. Of course, David Grace from Leeds, which is not too far away. Although I get the feeling he quite likes being part of the snooker bubble, actually. Oh, well, he's...
Together if you're not careful. But he didn't do that. That's excellent. A terrific shot.
the table legs, just the nature of the venue. I think the conditions have been excellent, actually, so far. For 2 and a bit days. Here we go again. Same shot.
Yeah, you got to...
One.
Just missed an important ball at the wrong time in the first couple of frames when he...
A qualifying round, because Higginson, had he won, would have got his tour card back because he was playing under amateur status, so he was arguably under more pressure, you could say.
Goodness me, look at all the balls here flying around. That is a nightmare. That was a bad shot.
Yeah, the shot he played maybe got a bit over anxious, but he'd be feeling even worse now.
He's used to him.
7. 14.
And he's sensing an opportunity here. He's sensing his opponent hasn't settled. Higgins hasn't been flawless.
Yeah. 28. $35.
Two colours, you'll need more than just the red. That's the awkward one.
42. $49.
It won't be enough. I'm not sure if he played to move the red there. You'd be surprised if he did on that last shot where he just touched the red, because often it can lead.
Moments like this, when he senses a chance, he brings it all together. We've seen that with clearances down the year, and he's already got a good lead here against an opponent who's not quite at the races yet.
One.
Now he's his game, and his best is good. He's a good player. As Dave pointed out earlier, you know, he's got to win.
Particularly for people who have tickets tomorrow afternoon when this match concludes.
17. $25.
Those sort of breaks are not enough.
Foul.
Did he miss that?
Miss.
Extraordinary.
David Graceful.
That's
David Graceful.
clear. Oh, good shot that from John. Players at this level are all going to be able to find that target. It's the jaws like that, you don't have any real control over it. So in there again. Big area to land the cue ball. That was good effort. He couldn't quite. And once again, same area. Defender.
Foul. And a miss. David Graceful.
Playing decent save. Well, this time he...
Land his first frame, he's already got a useful advantage.
in the back of the mind that he's never going to win a frame. It's only happened twice here in...
Eight.
Oh, well done.
There's always the supposition in all the years are very good. And he's putted two important
25.
shots, that red and the pink Dave mentioned, both are in.
At the crucible, it's not always... Well, he could...
Yeah, he might as well just dropped it in, really. Higgins is almost obliged.
Nine. Seven.
Looks quite good, doesn't it? He's got the
Higgins.
overhit, perhaps.
24.
Can't quite do it. There's still a bit of mileage in this frame. Higgins will go now.
One.
David Grace.
John Higgins.
Ooh, well, there's one of them. There's
John
one of them,
Higgins.
so...
Didn't think he could avoid the double kiss there.
It's a nasty little area. Surely. And in it goes. All the talk of whitewashes is out the window. He's involved in the match. Higgins with the 98 in frame 2. That was his best run of the match.
8. 12.
He'd be relieved in the end. Then he just failed to get the snooker behind the green. Was relieved to win that pre-interval frame, not least because Higgins needed 2 snookers. He actually got one of them, but anyway, 3-1, 5 frames left to play. They conclude tomorrow. No great surprise, the pot success favours Higgins at this stage. 3-1 the lead. Safety actually is not ahead him, which is, I guess, is a surprise. And that's a telling stat. The high break, just 32 from Grace.
70. $25.
To the middle, but the position would have to be absolutely A1. Now, has he got the gap?
John Higgins, 32.
Played it. Fraction off. Ah, really good.
David.
They are in the first place.
Few behind. But he's going to be a serious contender in this match. If he could steal this frame when he...
Oh dear. Where's this red going to finish? He's up.
One. Six.
He's had chances in every frame.
It then takes. Just wanted to end this match.
One.
Sounds because he's kind of bossing the exchanges. Grace is not playing.
Powering in front once again. Assuming this frame ends because the other session is over. A long way behind in this frame, 68 behind with 51 on.
One.
John Higgins, he's not been at his glorious but just 32. He did win the fourth. He's had chances in all the frames but hasn't quite produced it yet. And Higgins... Just feels like John Higgins is in control.
John all that much. This doesn't work. There'll be a different setup for the next one. I don't know what... The radar's gone completely far. Intentional.
Because if you're struggling, and he is at the minute, and you don't really want to be struggling against...
Do strange things. Some good and some not so good. Potable. I think that middle set...
16. $22.
Said it earlier, but it is a very different environment when we get down that they hadn't seen earlier. And
34.
he can't...
30 years he's been coming here just about. Still wanted to just savour the unique feel to any other. This tournament is different to any other.
47.
Advantage.
$75 on, but there won't be when this red is.
59.
This is where this Gracie's going to be behind, but Higgins is just, I think, he's not gone in, but he's done enough.
We'll play Jack Jones. They're the confirmed second round matches. Mark Allen coming back tonight, 6-3 up on Fang Zhengji. And we'll... Oh dear. Oh.
Not playing well. I think that was a pretty easy red, wasn't it, that he missed, and he's missed two.
$50. $20.
Not necessarily all able to be potted. As you can see, there's the one at the bottom which appears... Anyway, decided to go the other route and go black. I mean, they look okay.
You know, he'll be seriously annoyed with himself. His opponent has been there for the taking.
I'll be honest, I think he's at the point now where he almost doesn't want to come to the table because he's missing so many.
One. Seven.
And that's to virtually get it won this afternoon. It's the best rest player in the world. But he potted that one without any fuss. David Grace, Higgins 92. It's quite a casual frames to put them away. And he's...
Be careful not to push this one. Not that it matters now. The frame's over. Yep. And okay, that's all. Work done today. You could have a half day tomorrow. Whatever your job is, that's kind of where he...
Yeah, I mean, the way it's going, you certainly think 7-2. Relax a little. It's not easy to do, of course. The build-up to the match, but the Crucible, more than it again.
59.
And that's why I think in some ways it's difficult to... You know...
Well, that's right. You can get dragged into it. I don't think it happens to great champions. They just... And that's how they get to be champions, because they dominate and they don't...
83.
Take their foot off. There's just a bit of form here with this break.
The form he's capable of, then that would at least just cheer him up a bit, apart from anything else. You never know when your next Crucible appearance might be. He doesn't want to...
End up putting a red near the pocket in these. Oh, that's a good shot. That's nice. Failing that.
1.
Well, he's not got...
A case of the player of the season actually winning the World Championship. The player with the best form.
John Higgins, 11.
That season he'd been in 6 ranking finals. Still dangerous. Oh, this could be dangerous for David Grace. He's...
An in-off sort of shot, but... No, he's just took the cue ball round into a good area. It's a good shot. I wondered if he was playing onto that red near the pocket at first. Oh, great shot. Great shot. You can stay over the pocket these if you don't hit them right. No, he's not even trying to keep the break going. Ah, well.
David Grace, 8.
Good pot.
1.
Well played, but
David Grace, 7.
That was 6 years ago now.
being presented with gifts, which he's very grateful to take.
Ever since the qualifying last week, but the moment, it's turning into a nightmare.
$40. $20.
Again. That'll do.
It doesn't really seem to matter. He's missed that one. Wasn't on the blue, as we said, as intended, to straighten it, so...
Driver's frame this side.
$11. $90.
Oh, what a crunching pot that was. Terrific.
29.
But there's another big shot to be played. This one. A lot of movement on that shot, and he got into it. Frame ball. Wow, and he's done this was much more like it from David Grace. Brilliant.
44.
Yeah, he's shown a lot of heart there to get his seat, which is good to see. A few empty seats in the front rows. The new Century Club Hospitality Lounge is perhaps being favoured more than the live.
David Grace, of course, from Leeds. It always makes me think of... Played an all-day match. And that was the last we ever saw of him as a player.
That he summoned up.
One.
He's in the same half of Robertson and Mark Allen, Stuart Bingham. There's no easy sections, obviously, but...
4. $10.
Yeah. Great chance out of a pretty innocuous position. But the way that... And now...
It would take some collapse. It would take some transformation in performance, both from him.
$37.
And that's what catch him cold. Which he's doing, to be fair.
Higgins. 42.
In the main. Grace to do what he did in the previous frame, I think, this time. John will be looking to put the reds a little bit safer than... Nailing the green to the side cushion here, that's the percentage call. Not playing it great, to be honest. Q action, he seems to be stopping at the back for an awfully long time on these shots. Off the table, I think, is as relevant as anything.
And getting involved in the best of 25s to convert victory tomorrow, based on what we've seen this afternoon, and based, of course, on the...
Eight.
Well, he's decided not to even play it. Chip it in down. Well,
still gone along at 92% pot success. Grace at 78. That was never going to be enough to
any great degree in this match. Someone like John will set his own standards.
Thank you. One.
Or break was just fueled by rage, and it got him a frame on the board.
David Grace, 8.
Yeah, and it's...
Foul.
Yeah, it's time to shake hands. Close this out now.
Yes, it's one of these sessions where you kind of think you know how it's going to unfold.
Even if he doesn't win, he'll be more satisfied. But that's not the best of starts, is it? And that red's coming back towards ball.
It looked like he had a lot of hope and expectation yesterday, but it was soon dashed. He didn't perform. Just a few shots quite...
Often he comes good at this venue. He was in the semis last year.
He'll be fine. Can't imagine it.
He's at the here and now, and he's looking to really... I mean, from 7-2 down, you wouldn't really expect...
Yes, and if there's any issues with the players' rankings, then just about, mate. He's not really someone who's going to come out and...
$54.
And that's a well-played shot also, nicely on...
And I'm sure he would... I mean, he wants to win, obviously, that's number one priority, but if he could put in a good performance...
60.
8-minute frame. And it's still
76.
not in this match. No doubt if he does win this, and we're not going to assume he's won the match yet, but it looks...
84.
199. Extraordinary numbers, really. And he's
92.
watching. So many frames you've got to win to.
Well, that's
100.
to the... But otherwise, it's a beautifully measured break, this.
See?
107. John Higgins.
So the break ends at 14. The break 8-2 the lead. 2 frames the target now for victory.
Well, I don't know whether he went for the pot or not there. I guess
1.
But he had Spider when he doesn't even need anything to reach this one.
Nine.
An odd one, really.
Still a teenager.
7.
And 3 more. Could have won a couple more along the way.
It's quite I'm getting used to.
Yeah, and in quite a few of those tournaments, the World Champions.
30.
Wait. It might be just me.
41.
Here at the Crucible.
Oh dear. He took a goes in. He could get on the black as well. Oh, it's looking good. Yeah, great shot.
Really ticks all. I'm not sure he would have played that shot somehow.
No, but he might have.
Frame.
Nine.
Card for next season. He beat Sean O'Sullivan 10-8. It was close. 2 made in the qualifying in the last 2 frames last week.
And he felt he had, as I say, other options yet. But that was one of those where you...
$43.
The other thing is the double, if the cue ball is in the right spot, is not a particularly difficult. It's further away from the cushion than would be comfortable with to play the cannon. No, that's fine. He's okay.
54.
Continue the maximum attempt. Remember, though, the first shot Grace had to play it to come off the side cushion back across for the red.
The beauty of the shot that Grace played was if you pop
58.
the red,
Blue to win his 3rd frame of the contest. And obviously, if you can win another one, then
6.
This is more like it from
65.
David Grace. You don't qualify and win through.
70.
This is much more like it.
76.
He'll make a high quality clearance there of 80. That 83 clearance. Still a long way back, but you'll feel much better about things having won the frame the way he did.
Didn't hit that one particularly well. He actually was right behind.
Nine.
Oh, that was not dissimilar to the last frame. Not an easy shot.
1.
Oh, no, there isn't. He played on the left-hand red of the bunch, and he didn't take the cue ball far enough across the table for that red.
Well, there's a bit of a groan there, wasn't there? I think the Yorkshire crowd.
1.
24, of course, Josephine and his whole family.
9.
D for a 5th time.
But, you know, there is always a suspicion he's going to be tough to beat.
Yes, and even if he doesn't win it.
$33.
He's going to be one from victory. They play tomorrow morning and evening.
Yeah, that's quite. But John Higgins, well, who wins that game, providing he gets this one more frame than he needs here. If this one is over.
Hasn't he? Wasn't in the Players Series events, which is unusual. He's normally in everything. Finals of the last ranking event he played in, the WST Classic, which was a little below radar, that tournament. And again, that's below radar, but he won it and played nicely in it.
63. $72. 75.
Throws of a maximum attempt. And he did leave a couple of Grace didn't take them. John Higgins has done. That 90 from hang on is not for a place in round 2. Yeah, he says I wasn't going to argue with your big man. Do if he wins this frame.
One ones he can just reach. Good shot. But has he left the red on the left? No, I don't think. Fine. Chooses not to. Maybe the black doesn't go, in fact. That he'd be looking to land on. That's break building for you. And that's the balls out of the way that clear the decks to all other pockets for the high value colours. And that's what he's done there. The preparation and the groundwork that's gone in.
Give this everything. This is kind of almost his whole season rolled into one, really.
20
world title on May the 1st.
Good session. He's starting to look less likely.
35.
I guess someone's come back in to win it. Everyone assumed he would win. You've got to go out and beat players. But I would say one thing, they were nice to see at this place. And it was one of those.
Yeah, left himself with...
Not let his standards drop. Enough good ones to give him plenty of hope. And to get back to the table here. So we've still got 75.
Disappointed with his performance, but this will not dent his enthusiasm. He loves snooker. He'll just beat it.
The concluding frames here of one of the Crucible legends, multiple world former champion against Anthony McGill, former semi-finalist. So they're getting the...
87.
I think it does. More of a left-hander, or even move it.
9.
Lovely stuff, Dave.
Well, we've been watching snooker too long to write off the legends, the class of 92. They were all there in the... Cometh the greatest stage in our sport, cometh the greatest players.
112. $190.
Yeah, that's your ball. I know the pressure's off now, but it just looking pretty good. He's used a little bit of unusual side. I think he's happy with what his afternoon's work.
So really well, 2 centuries.